Hello folks and welcome to Dune Spice Wars. This is a game that I've been wanting to dig into for a while now, and with the new update that came out last night, I feel like this is as good a time as any. So without further ado, let's just kind of dive in here. As the title suggests, this is a beginner's playthrough. I have played a bit, but that was quite a few months ago, and that was not on this update. In fact, I think I even missed the last update as well. So there's a lot I have missed. However, I did jump in for a brief moment last night just to kind of refresh myself with some things, just to kind of see how the game has changed. And I have been really excited about the development and progress that this game has been making. For those of you who don't know, this game is still in early access, so there's a long ways to come, but it already has come so far. So I will not be playing House Carino, even though this is the new exciting, sexy, young faction. Look at this guy, he looks great. I'm going to be just playing as House Atreides to start off with, because as I said, I'm new and I'm trying to want to get accustomed to this game. So if you are experienced, and if you do want to stick around and you want to show me, what's what and give me some tips, that's totally cool. I completely, I'm okay with that. Please do. But if you are experienced and you're looking for experienced gameplay, then this is not going to be the place for you. Not to gatekeep or anything. Watch it if you want. But yeah, I'm just a beginner. I'm just going to be kind of getting my way, finding my way around. With that being said, I do understand a lot of the currencies, a lot of the concepts, and even a little bit of the strategy as well. So I'm not going to be too lost. There's going to be definitely a lot of interplay with the systems that I'm not going to be, that I'm not totally on top of, but as far as understanding how the game itself works, I do at least know that much. So don't worry, then it's not going to be that bad. It's going to be I'm still going to be able to show you some things, I suppose. Now, yeah, as far as House Atreides, let's just kind of jump right in here and talk about this game for those of you who are either new to the game or just kind of new to House Atreides. So the way that let's go in here first and talk about the way that this game can be won. There's domination, which is this is where you eliminate your opponents. You can eliminate your opponents by destroying their main base, and that's all it takes is their main base. You don't have to destroy their villages, just their main base. Now, their main base does come with a lot of hit points and a lot of armor, so it's hard to do, but that is how you destroy your opponents. You can also destroy your opponents by assassinating them as well. And that's kind of a different mechanic that I can talk about later on. So those are the two ways you can win by domination. Hegemony is how you gain points to win the game. Hegemony is basically a backup, I suppose. It's to make sure that the games don't go on too long, because this can be a long game. Now, what happens, I think, in a competitive sphere is that you can basically block your opponents from winning through domination or political or economic, and then hegemony becomes the kind of backup victory condition. Political is how you, win through politics. If you become the governor of Dune, you can hold on to that for 45 days, and that becomes a victory. And then economics is the new win condition, and if you hold 50% of the CHOAM shares, you will win the game. Now, CHOAM is sort of like the stock market of this universe, so that's how that works. Now, going into the House Atreides mechanics themselves. So they're going to gain hegemony by winning votes in the Landsraad. This is a politics thing, so this faction is going to be all about playing the politics side of things and diplomacy. That's what they're going to be good at, and they have a really good military that's designed for defensive play. So they're going to gain hegemony points by winning votes. They can use peaceful annexation to gain neutral villages. Now, you can use your military to, of course, take over villages. This is going to be faster. However, peaceful annexation allows you to capture villages that is not attached to your territory, and this is going to give you a little bit more flexibility than the Atreides otherwise would be, so you can gain territories that you have vision on, but your troops can't actually walk over there and get there, because it's a desert planet. It's dangerous out there. There's worms, there's sandstorms. So peaceful annexation is going to allow you to kind of reach out and touch somebody without actually, walking over there. Now, other factions lose no authority from treaties with you. Now, you might think, how is this a boon for the Atreides? Because it's the other factions that are gaining from this. Well, if another faction's not going to lose any authority, which is one of the many currencies in this game, from having a treaty with you, then they're more likely to have treaties with you, right? So that's why this is a good thing. And then other factions lose 100% more Landsraad standings when breaking a truce with you. And this is very, very powerful. And this is part of the new diplomacy system as well, because now there's actual truces and actual wars. And if you have a truce with someone, that is essentially a ceasefire. And if that's broken through warfare, then you lose Landsraad standing. And this is basically this is the great houses of the universe. And if you piss them off, well, there's going to be penalties for that. And you can, of course, break a truce through diplomacy. It's going to cost authority to do so. That's fine. Then you're not going to lose Landsraad standing. But if you do fuck over the Atreides, then the punishment's going to be much more harsh. Now, the one downside to playing as the House Atreides is that they cannot pillage neutral villages. And that just goes with who they are. They are honorable folk. They're not there to, ruin your life or anything. If they conquer your village, they're just there to take over. But they don't want to go in there and burn down everything, take all your loot, and then run away. That's not their style. Now, the factions also gain more traits and more opportunities, I guess you could say, as they gain hegemony. Now, it doesn't say on here, but when you gain 2,000 hegemony, that's when you can start building buildings in your main base. However, once you have 5,000 hegemony, this is when, for the Atreides, they're going to gain 10% Solari production while under the effect of a positive resolution. Resolutions are the votes in the political sphere of things. So if you get one to pass that is favoring you, you're going to get more money. However, if you also have a negative resolution, something that goes against you, then your units are going to hit for more power. So whether you're losing or winning in the political sphere, you're still going to be getting something from that, and that's pretty powerful, I think. And then at 10k hegemony, ignores all charters, prerequisites, except for Landsraad standings. This is something that I can talk about once we get into the game. It's really hard with this screen to describe this. And then they also permanently gain 2% resource production upon being elected for a positive resolution. And I think that's fairly self-explanatory. So the more resolutions that you're passing, the more money that you're going to be stacking. And not just money, but all of your resources as well. So you can, of course, pick your counselors. You get to pick 2 of these guys. And for the Atreides, I would say that they have some pretty good ones as well. Thufir Hawat, their spy master. His agents have an additional trait. That's something that I can suppose talk about more once I get into the game itself. Villages gain 20% resource production when targeted by an operation. Yeah, these are kind of difficult to explain, I suppose. But as far as Gurney Halleck, I think his is pretty self-explanatory. He gets better militia units, and his military units get more experience. Lady Jessica, she can impose treaties, which is very good, and she starts off with all of the treaties already unlocked, which is really nice as well. And then, let's see, Duncan Idaho. Yeah, he's the one that gets all chummy with the locals. So you're going to have 100% relation gain with sieges, and these are just the local Fremen. And then it's also going to cost you less authority, which is, of course, a currency to annex a village. So these are all things I can talk about more once I get into the game. And I just want to back up here for a little bit and just show you this last screen. So the hegemony goals are 25,000. If you get 25,000 hegemony, that's how you win the game. Now, they've changed the prerequisites for gaining hegemony a little bit, and now all of the factions do have a unique way of gaining hegemony, and I'm pretty sure this is a new thing. So for the Atreides, as I've already said, they gain hegemony by winning votes in the Landsraad. The House Harkonnen gain hegemony by using spying operations. The smugglers can gain hegemony by using underworld headquarters, which is where they basically build buildings in other factions' villages, which is pretty cool. The Fremen gain hegemony by producing water. The dream of the Fremen is to produce a green Arrakis, so this is really impertinent for them. And House Carino, so what do? Gain hegemony by paying guild fees. I don't really know what that is. I think that's just paying spice to the guild, I think. Which, again, I can talk about at a later time, so... I think, let's see, do I want to talk about anything else? Yes, medium map size, sandworm activity, storm activity, and siege hostility is all going to be normal. I want to play all the victory options. And then, unfortunately, in this update, because they added a new house, I'm not able to play as all 5 factions. I mean, we can't have a battle with all 5 houses in the same battle. It's only going to be 4 at a time. I hope that's changed at some point. That'd be really nice. However, for now, I think, let's play some smugglers. Let's just assume, it's really hard to choose, it really is, because what's a battle on Arrakis without the Fremen? However, let's assume, just for the nature of this game, that the Atreides and the Fremen are pals, and they're not going to fight it out today. And let's just play normal. I was playing easy last night, and it felt pretty comfortable, so let's go up to normal, and let's hope that I don't embarrass myself. So, this, and who am I going to pick? I think, so I like how it tells you whether, at the bottom there, it says whether this counselor is easy or hard to use. I like using Gurney Halleck, at least I used him before. Like I said, he's going to give better militia options, and he's going to give military units that are stronger. And then Duncan Idaho also seems like a really nice beginner's choice. Having that 100% relation gain with sieges is nice, and negative 10% authority cost to annex a village is also quite nice. So let's do that, and let's get into it. This is something that, this game, I must say, leading up to the release, I want to say it was in April 29th or something, it really did catch me off guard, because I had caught glimpses of it. However, it's something that I just wasn't really paying much attention to, because I haven't played really an RTS game since like middle school. It's been a long time for me. I don't have that much of a background with this. But I do love the Dune universe, I do love the Dune lore, and when I saw gameplay and when I saw how deep the mechanics and the interplay between the systems were, and I saw that this wasn't a game just about military, but also about all of the other things, right? The economy, the diplomacy, the espionage, it really grabbed my attention. So I'm just, unfortunately, I haven't been able to really dig into this game over the last few months. I did buy it like right away, and I put maybe 20 hours in, but that was it. I had to kind of put it away for a while. So enough of that. Let's get into this. So this is my main base, and as I said before, I can't build anything in here until I reached 2000 Hegemony, which is up here. I start off with 300, so I'm not quite there yet. I have my spy. This is my, not my spy, but my scout helicopter, ornithopter, as they're called in the Dune universe, and I can use it to start scouting right away. First things first, it's good to kind of zoom way out and kind of see where you are on the map. So starting back here, I know that my rear is going to be in this area, and then my front is going to be out here, right? So I can expect the enemies to be coming from this direction, and out here, but not so much back here. I'm pretty much safe back here. And that's a good thing, because this is where my first spice field's going to be. It's nice that they show the spice field, because this is going to be the most important resource for me to gather. So let's go over here. The spice field's right there, but the city, the village is going to be somewhere else. So I need to find the village.
On the move.
Where are you, buddy? Yeah, so the village is going to be right here. Because, yeah, this is going to zoom back and show me this province. And the villages are always going to be on the hard rock surface, because sandworms dictate that you can't build anything on the sand, right? And maybe that's just how sand works too. But in any case, yeah. Once you find your province with a spice in it, you just find the rock, and ta-da, there you go. There's your village. What I should have been already doing is I should have been training up some soldiers. So let's pause this really quick. I can put this guy on auto recon, which is really nice. And then let's talk about my soldiers, okay? And actually, let's start training another ornithopter right away. Having 2 of those to start scouting out this region at the same time is going to be very good for me. And as far as my soldiers go, the Atreides has a military that it's very interesting, because it's built essentially around playing defensively. They typically have less attack than the other factions units, but then they have more armor. And that's going to balance that out. And the Atreides army is something that works very well together. All of the units kind of support each other, and that's going to allow for, I suppose, I could call it like a beginner play style, I think. So looking at the trooper, right here, that's going to stand for 400 health. That's a basic number for a basic trooper. 18 power, which I think is Based on what I remember, I think that's a little less than the Harkonnens and then the Smugglers, but then 5 armor is quite good. 5 armor is a bit more, I'd say, than the Harkonnens and the Smugglers. The Ranger, oh, actually, before I continue on, now, each of these units do have, like, has a, sort of a second power, I guess you could call it. So in this case, they have Coordination, which is where they gain power for each bonus received from an ally unit. So if this unit is buffed in any way, then it also attacks stronger as well. And that's going to play out for the other units in this army. And then it just says, 200 Solari upkeep, and then 20 manpower, 3 water, and then at the end there, that is command points. And then it also tells the upkeep there being 6 Solari and 3 manpower. And I can talk about all of these currencies in just a moment here. So I'm going to train up one of these right away. And then a Ranger, this is my ranged soldier, he shoots a rifle. He's going to have less health than the Trooper, a slightly higher attack, which I'm pretty sure was changed, and then less armor as well, but then his power, I guess you could call it, is that any ally units that are attacking the same target as him are going to gain 5% power. Now, I actually don't know if this applies the 10% power bonus that the Troopers get. I'm not quite sure on that. And I actually can't. Okay, I was going to show you guys the rest of the units, but I guess I can't do that. Let me go into the rest of the UI really quick as well. So top left is just going to show us our faction specific things that I was talking about earlier, the traits that I was talking about earlier. Up here we have the counselors, if we ever want to be reminded of what they do. Then this is going to be the spice, which I'm going to start harvesting really soon here in this village. And right away you see that I have a 0 stockpile and I'm making 0 as well. And then this is the exchange rate, because what I can do is I can sell my spice for money. And right now I can sell each spice for 2 Solari, which is pretty good, I think. So I can change the rate. I can change how much, if I want to be stockpiling more spice, I can move this up. Or if I want to be making more money and selling more of my spice, I can move this down like this. And if I'm making 2 Solari for every 1 spice, I think that I want to be selling. But for now, I can't do anything because I don't have any spice. This is going to be the spice report. This kind of tells me mostly what I already see up here, but it's something I check in on later on. And then, what else? The Cho Markets is the new feature that will open up, not quite yet. It's going to take 28 days, so we're not there yet. I think this is the 2nd day of the 1st month, I believe, is how this is going. So yeah, it's going to take a month before this opens up. And the Imperial Tax, this is how much spice I need to pay off for the Imperium. This is how much I owe him, as 80 spice. And like it says there, I have 23 days to gain 80 spice. So there's going to be, I have plenty of time, I think. This is my money, how much I have, how much I'm making. Solari is just kind of the basic currency for this world. And then plasticrete is a building material. It's what you use to build buildings. So you're going to need plenty of this. Manpower. Manpower is what you use to, of course, power your armies. But you also use manpower to crew your harvesters as well. And it makes your spice harvesters work faster. Fuel cells. You're going to need these for your ornithopters and then also your spice harvesters as well. Spice harvesters, sorry. And then water. Water you're going to need to take over villages. And I believe you're going to need it for other things as well. I think you need it to train up soldiers, I believe. I can't show you. But yeah, I think you need water to train up soldiers. Actually, it says it right there. -3 for a ranger, -3 for a trooper, so yes. Authority is what you're going to use to actually annex villages. And there's a few other reasons you need authority as well. And then this is the Landsraad standing. So this is what I was talking about before, where if someone breaks a truce, you're going to pay the penalty. And I don't know if you can actually see it on here. It's not going to tell you quite what the penalty is right now. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. All I'm seeing is that right now my Landsraad standing is 240, which is medium, right? I just started this game. So this is the Hegemony. Right now, the only thing that I'm getting those points for is my Landsraad standing, and that's it. And then moving on, let's see, that's the date. And I can click on these so that I can talk to the other factions and try to propose trades with them. And I don't know if it's quite... See, this is all new, and this is really interesting. I love this. This looks really, really good. And it's interesting to try to get a truce right away, for sure, because that, like I said, that's a ceasefire, essentially, and if he breaks that ceasefire, then the Landsraad will be mad at him. Yes, the Emperor. You can actually pay the penalty, buckaroo. Now, in this case, this is really cool, too, because over time, the amount of authority that you have to pay to get a truce is going to go down. So I may as well wait on that, I suppose, because I only have 66 authority, and I'm going to need this authority to annex villages, so I don't want to spend that quite yet. In addition to that, I can also trade for resources. Actually, no, I don't think I can. I think I can only trade resources once I have a truce with them, I believe. Okay, apparently not. It looks like, according to this, I can actually trade, say, 50 Solari for 10 spice. No, I'm not going to do this trade, but this is the bar that indicates how likely this is to happen. Now, in this case, that should indicate that he's going to accept this deal, but then once I start asking for things, it goes down to, 1 tick. And then put it up to 20 spice, and he'd say, no, I'm not doing that, screw that. So this is really interesting as well, but I'm pretty sure what this means, though, the change that was made is that when you actually are at war with someone, you can't trade with them, which... it makes sense. If you're not used to this game, you might think, duh. But the thing was, which was really weird before, was that you actually could trade with people that you were literally in the process of invading their villages, which is really funny. Now, going forward, I think I can't really talk about the developments as the tech tree, and I can't really go into this screen right now until I take my first village. And then the Landsraad Council, this doesn't really open up yet either. Espionage, I can't go into this until I get my first agent. And I think that is about it. So let's go back to, going back to the game. And this is my first mission telling me to get my spice. That is fine. And yeah, so we can go in here. This is another thing that was added, was that each village has 2 different traits to it. They used to have 1, now it has 2. So this village is +2 manpower, which is great. And then also, let's see, gain 50 Solari per enemy unit dying in allied territory. And I think that applies to all of my territories, not just this territory. So by owning this village, anytime an enemy unit attacks me and then dies, then I get more Solari from them. Ooh, and what's this? Ruins. So there's these little things I can kind of discover around the map as well. And this is something that was changed actually in this game, where you used to be able to kind of resolve these discoveries everywhere on the map. And now you can only do that in your own provinces and in neighboring provinces, but not, in the far reaches of the map. So let's go attack this village. I have a trooper and I have a ranger. And you can see this number 2 right here is going to tell me that there's 2 militia guarding this village. So let's go take them over. Right here, and we're shooting, and are we in range of the rockets? Can we actually drag them back a little bit and try to get our rockets involved? Because I know there's a rocket launcher on top. There we are. So now our rockets are shooting at the enemy, doing a little bit of damage to our own soldiers, it looks like, but that's okay. And once he's dead, there we go. Now we can take care of this guy. He's just shooting at us, and once you're in close range with someone who's shooting, they have to start using their melee instead of shooting, and they're going to do much, much less damage. And what is this right here? So it looks like I can send a military unit to analyze this ruin here. So once I've taken over this town, I can keep him here. Ooh, and this is a sandworm, so I need to go back here. Go. Oh dear. So yeah, that's how you know that this is a sandworm, is when you see the exclamation point over their head. So I need to wait for that to go away. But right now I can start annexing this village. It's going to cost water and authority. So let's start that process, and then sandworm detected. Dismiss that. And then rise to power. So this just wants me to build a spice harvester, I believe. Yeah, that is totally fine. I will get around to it. And I have my second ornithopter as well. You can go to auto recon, so I don't have to tell these guys where to go. They're just going to fly around on themselves and discover what they want. And right now I'm seeing some provinces that I want to take. Ooh, do I have 2? No, that's just my 1 spice region. Okay, got it.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go. What just happened? So this is, there you go. And so new village controlled. Obviously I can start building a building right away. So let's go with the refinery. This is going to give me a spice harvester and allow me to start getting spice. And in addition to that, my developments. This opens up once you capture your first village. So this is a tech tree basically. And what I like to do with the Atreides is to go into local dialect studies. This is going to make the authority cost to annex a village 15% cheaper. And in addition to that, it's going to unlock the craft workshop building as well. So obviously, since I'm going to be, taking over a lot of villages, having to pay less authority seems like a pretty good thing for me. In addition to that, I'm pretty sure they've added, I know that there was, I think they've changed this whole thing, which is pretty cool. These technologies or developments that have the Atreides symbol on it, right here, that green little symbol, that's going to be a faction-specific technology, which is really awesome. I love that. So going in here, there's things that are going to give much better boosts later on. And there's available in the military tree. This is going to be the economics tree. This is going to be the spies and espionage tree. And then the green tree is sort of like an Arrakis tree. This is how you kind of get the lay of the land. It's basically kind of understanding more about, water resources and, authority, because it has to do with the villages, like the locals and stuff like that. So that's what this tree has to do with. So I'm going to focus on the local dialect studies right off the bat. And let's see, is there anything else I want to be doing? I did click that, right? Did I not? There we go. All right. And I want to send you to go check out this out. Now that the sandworm is hopefully gone, I can try to investigate this little artifact right here and see what it is. So yeah, it's a ruins. And yeah, in 0.7 days, it increases siege detection. And the sieges are the local Fremen, right? There obviously is the faction Fremen that you can actually play as, but we can also there's also other Fremen. It's basically like a confederation, right, of tribes. And in this case, there's going to be Fremen basically hiding in their homes, which are caves, and they're hard to find because they're in these underground caverns. And what you want to do is you want to find these sieges, and you want to try, siege detected already, right? And where is it? So siege detected right here. And as you can see, I'm glad this popped up. This is really convenient, actually. Yeah, they live in, it looks like it's part of the planet, because it is. This is a cavern. And what you can I do anything right now or no? Yes, so I can try to talk to them, I think. Let's see. So our relation level is at -2 right now, so it's not good yet. So I think what I need to do is own this province first before I can start talking to them. I think that's the deal. Yeah, I can't quite remember, because I can start trading with them. Now they do have a huge force. This tells you how big their army is. And they have 8 units in there, which is a lot. That says it all right there as well. So what you can do is you can actually attack them, which obviously is going to do well for your relations. But if you attack them, you actually can pillage a lot from the siege. But I think it's better, especially when playing as the Atreides, to try to make friends with them, and then you can trade with them. And I believe you can even get them to do, can they start working for you later on? I can't quite remember, to be honest. Now that I have my forces here all set up, I think I want to go over to this region next. And I also want to start, I'm still building a building here. And I want you to deploy, this is my spice harvester, and he's going to start harvesting spice. So I have to deploy him, but in case, say, a sandworm comes to take him, I want him to auto-recall as well. So that means that a carry-all is going to come carry him back to base without me having to micromanage that. Now that is going to make him 5% slower as far as, how much spice that he produces. But I think overall, in the long run, it's going to be better for me because that means he won't be eaten by spice worms, or sandworms, sorry. Now let's go to this village because, well, for one thing, it's right in the range of my towers, which is really nice. Yeah, right off the bat, we can start shooting at them. Let's try to get back here. And then I want to take this region because, actually, let's go back here. Siege detected. Yeah, let's just kind of dismiss this. And I can get a new development. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. And I want to go composite materials right now because this is going to make my village buildings construction costs cheaper, and it's also going to make my village buildings construction speed faster. So let's do that right away. And is there anything else? Combat ongoing. Yeah, that's fine. Because we should be able to deal with this pretty easily, especially with the help from our rockets coming from our main base. This resource right here is going to tell us that we're going to make extra plascrete from a plascrete factory, which, as I said before, that is the resource that I need to make buildings. So I have enough, because I have that development that makes my authority cost cheaper for annexation. Now it's only cost me 27 authority instead of whatever it cost before, like 45 or something. So that's going to be quite good. And, oh yeah, let me check my spice production here. Let's bump this up a little bit, and then I can see, am I going to have enough to get there on time? So I'm going to have 126 spice, and I need 80, so I'm going to have plenty. So I'm going to keep it at that for now. And rise to power, so yeah, I have all of that, that's all taken care of. And do I have this village yet? Not quite, but this is going to be a really good place for me to build my plascrete factory, because I will get a bonus to plascrete right here. So let's go in, plascrete factory, plus 45 plascrete, and this is going to give an additional bonus to that as well.
Yes.
And now where do I want to go? Now I think what I should start doing is putting some militia into my villages here. So this is a forward base. Remember, if we look back, this is in the rear, right? So I want to maybe put, do I want to put veteran militia in my front lines? Like, this looks like, so this is deep desert, and this is really hard to traverse for a lot of armies. It's basically, if you're a Fremen, you can go past here because you have your worms, but this is impassable terrain for a lot, most forces, most conventional forces. And that makes me think that this is going to be a chokehold down here, and then a chokehold up here. So do I want to put veteran militia? I don't think I do want to put veteran militia in. These are obviously good fighters, but they are a bit more expensive, I think. Yeah, a lot more expensive, actually. So these guys, all of these militia units are going to cost 50 Solari and then 10 manpower. And then my veteran militia, 400 Solari and 30 manpower. So let's not use them quite yet. No. Let's just use my basic militia. This is going to be a basic melee combatant. 400 health, 12 attack, 2 armor. And then they also suffer panic when they're under 50% health. I actually don't know what panic does. I'm going to assume that it affects your stats in some way and makes your militia units fight worse as they get weaker. So let's get a melee combatant. Let's get a ranged combatant. His attacks give off more damage, 16 as opposed to 12. And then let's use a demolition militia as well. These guys are going to deal area damage, and they also have a chance of destroying armor as well. So let's use them. Now you might wonder, what's the point of using melee combatants when your ranged combatants deal more damage? And the thing is, the reason why is that you want to use your melee combatants to keep enemy melee combatants off of your ranged units. Because as you saw before, once a ranged unit is in melee combat, they can't shoot. They just basically hit you with their rifles. Therefore, their damage is basically halved, I think. I think it's... yeah, it shows it right here. Melee attacks only deal 50% damage, and they suffer pinned down when engaged in melee combat. So yeah, they're not using ranged attacks. They're hitting for half of their weight. So you do want to use melee units just to keep other enemy units off of your ranged units. That's the idea there. So I can use at least 3 militia, or at most 3 militia in every single village of mine. And that's going to be it for my forward base. Let's see, what can I do? Unassigned agents. So this is my first look at, or our first look at the Espionage tab. And here's the agent I can use. Katil. Solari global production is increased 1% per infiltration level. Cool. So what this means is that these are all of the things that I can infiltrate. And what we're looking at is, these are the main, I could say, not factions, but these are kind of the side players. Now, Arrakis is the planet itself. It's having an agent that's actually exploring the planet and spying on the planet. It's more like a scout than a spy, I guess you could say. You're just getting, used to the planet, the land. The Spacing Guild, these are the guys that determine who gets to fly where, because they're the only ones that are capable of intergalactic travel. So you have to go through them anytime you want to leave a planet or go to a planet. Chom, like I said before, is going to be the stock market of this universe, and the Landsraad, as I said before, is going to be the great houses. These are the noble houses of this universe. So, what are these going to do if you infiltrate them? In this case, Arrakis is going to give +1 authority, and for me, playing as the Atreides, authority is really important because I can use it for a lot of things. I can use it for diplomacy, I can use it for my peaceful annexation, and there's probably other uses for it as well. Obviously, I can use it for regular annexation, but for me, I think authority is going to be a big one, and I do like to go for Arrakis infiltration right away. At least that's what I used to do. I don't know if this is still the main answer, but I think I'm gonna go with that. Just to show you the rest of this, though, Spacing Guild, if I would do this, it's going to give me +2 manpower. This is fantastic if you want a big military, and then +1 intel as well. I can talk about intel in a second. Chom is going to give you more money. That makes sense. And then Landsraad is going to give you more influence. Influence is a currency that you spend in the political tab, and I can show you that in a second, I think, as well. And these are going to be how you infiltrate the other houses themselves. House Harkonnen, the smugglers, and then House Carino. And these are all the things that you can find out about a faction by spying on them. And this is going to tell you, and this is new, I'm pretty sure, and I love this. This is so cool. This is going to tell you all of the things that you can find out and what level you need to reach. And these are the levels. 1, 2, 3. Right? I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Or no, these are the spies that you can send. The level is down here. I kind of thought those were the same thing, but I guess not. They are different things. But I think that the amount of time that an agent spends spying on a certain thing, faction, or agency, then that's going to bump up the level, like the intel level that you have. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So when you get more infiltration levels, you can get more information on these factions themselves. And this is going to be really cool. So you can find out what kind of counselors they're using, what developments they've researched, what territories they have, if they have special territories, and all of their currency as well. And then, as if that's not enough, you can also put agents into counterintelligence. And this is going to give you a chance of capturing enemy agents that are spying on you, or targeting you with operations. Well, what are operations? I'm glad you asked. Operations are come over here, and these are the things that you can use intel for. So you keep, as I'm sure you've seen by now, there's multiple ways to gain intel. You're wondering, well, what the heck is intel? You can gain +1 intel for all of these, but you can gain +5 intel for all of these. So what is intel? Intel is the currency that you use to spend up, and you spend it on espionage missions. And the missions are very powerful. This is a very important part of the game that should not be overlooked. Everyone should be using these, and they're so awesome. And again, like everything, there's a couple of faction-specific missions, and I love them. In this case, for the Atreides-specific missions, and I think this is new. Operations launched on the zone apply -5% damage received for your team. Okay. So it makes it so that the army receives less damage. Okay. And then Arrakis diplomacy. +20 relation level with the siege. That's awesome. I love that because that's just going to speed up the process of making friends with the locals. And then there's one that I saw that was really cool. I think the ceasefire. So this is really cool because the ceasefire used to be available to everyone. This was an operation that you could just use. And in some ways it was a little bit broken because you could just have a ceasefire and it felt kind of, it was cheap. It was way too cheap. you could kind of spam it too easily. And what this does is that it basically makes it so that you can basically like be in the middle of a battle and then prevent the battle from happening. You can just say, nope, you're not attacking me. And you just call a ceasefire, and the enemy has no option. The ceasefire has been called, and they have to go back home. And that's really powerful, because what can happen is that when an enemy is attacking you, enemies or units don't just have health, they also have supplies. And if a unit's supplies run out when they're crossing the desert, then they start to die. So if they have to attack your village, and then you call a ceasefire, and then they have to walk home, and then they run out of supplies, that whole army can die just like that. And that used to be something that was very, very powerful, especially because there used to be a mission that was called Drain Supplies, which of course does as it sounds. It makes the supplies drain even faster. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if that exists anymore. Let's see if there's a drain supply. I'm not seeing it. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff here. There's atomics, so you can drop nukes on the enemy, but the Landsraad will be mad at you, so you will lose 300 Landsraad standing, because there's a prohibition against nukes in this universe. Cool stuff, right? And then going forward, these are all the assassination missions. This is how you assassinate the enemy factions, and it's a long process. As you can see, it's a 4-step process. And that's good. That's how it should be. It should be a 4-step process, because you don't want it to be too easy to, end someone else's game. So that's the missions right there. And obviously I don't have enough intel to do anything quite yet. I need 50 just for the lowest, mission. So we can take a peek at this later on. And how we doing here? Oh yeah, and before we go any further, actually, I'm not going to have a chance. The things are already popping up. And I just wanted to show you this little bar underneath. So the health, obviously, is the green up here. And then the supply is going to be that gold bar underneath the health. So you're going to see that dropping down anytime a unit crosses any land that's outside of their territory. So this makes this desert very, very dangerous. And basically, rush tactics are not viable in this game. And that's something that I really like, because remember earlier when I said that I don't really have an RTS background? That's mostly true. There was a time a long time ago when I was playing a little bit of StarCraft when I was in middle school, and I thought I loved the game, and in some ways I really did. However, when my friends invited me to play a multiplayer game, and I jumped in, and then he showed me what a Zerg rush, oh man, that just killed all of my enthusiasm for StarCraft multiplayer. And I just love that there's no rush in this game. There's no way to just kind of cheaply beat your opponent in 2 minutes. You actually have to play the game. And I love that. I think that's really cool. So anyway, going forward, let's see. So spice production. This is going to construct a refinery. Yeah, I've already done that. And then unassigned agent, I think I already... Oh yeah, I forgot to assign him. I think Arrakis is the way to go. Yeah, additional authority seems to be a good play. And then another development is already up here. So what do I want to do next as far as developments go? I think that... a processing plant seems like a good idea. Let's take a look and see at my neighboring... Yeah, so... This is a region where I can make a lot of money. This is the Solari resource. The thing is that I'm going to need a processing plant to be able to mine that resource. And to get that processing plant available as a building, what I'm going to need to do is research this tech right here. So this is going to give me a 5% resource production increase in villages per building on an extra slot. So does that mean that for every empty building slot a village has, they're going to get a 5% resource production increase? Is that what that means? It's a little bit of a niche thing, because obviously the idea is you do want to build as many buildings as you can eventually. But I think this can be a good tech for the early game, right? And then it essentially is going to become useless, I guess. But you do want that processing plant anyway. So let's get going on this right away. And then... let's move... Where did my military go? Oh yeah, they're right here. Let's get these guys moving back up here, and we can start taking this village eventually. And is there anything around me that I want to check out? Actually, oh yeah, I was on pause. Let's actually check this out first. And I can send a unit up here. What is this? So it's a settled high rig. What is... I don't know what a high rig is. They're mainly temporary desert camps. Some could stay in the same safe place for a long time when needed. Okay, interesting. So what can I do here? Okay, so sending a unit, a military unit, it's not going to do anything here. I either have to spend 80 spice so that I can get increased siege detection, or I have to send an agent from Arrakis infiltration. And that's another good reason to do this first, is because by having an agent in Arrakis infiltration, it's going to allow you to use them to basically take care of these situations right here, where you have to use an Arrakis infiltration agent, and that way you're going to get... Ooh, you're going to get 2 Fremen mercenaries. Oh, cool. That's new, I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's neat. I like that. Sweet. Oh, cool. So enemies engaged in combat with this unit suffer disoriented. So negative 10% power and negative 10% speed. Oh, cool. And they last for 10 days. And oh, that's so cool. I like that. Or I can spend 80 spice and get increased siege detection. Okay, well, I'm not there yet. I'm not really sure what I want to do with that. I'm going to save this one in my back pocket for a while. So let's go back to this way. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, this is so... I am so excited to be getting into this game.
We're moving.
Folks, I dove into it like right away. I think I bought this the day after it came out of early access. I mean, it was, released in early access, of course. And I really wanted to dive into it. Unfortunately, though, I do have another YouTube channel where I cover Total War games. I go by Conastep for that channel, so if you want to check that out, by all means, please do.
Yes, sir.
But we are here to talk about Dune, so I really wanted to dive into this and start playing this right away, but I couldn't justify the time spent because I was just spending all of my time playing Total War. So I'm really happy to finally have some time here to I couldn't help it anymore.
Yeah.
The new update came out and I was like, I'm going for it. Ooh, and I may have just bit off more than I can chew here because I'm going up against 3 militia. Ooh, this might not be good. So let's keep an eye on this and see what's going on here. I'm taking down this guy pretty fast, so I might be able to pull this off. They do have a demolition guy, and demolition does not do a lot of base damage, but they do take care of armor. And my units, of course, have some pretty decent armor. That's a pretty big part of my strength, so we're going to see how this goes. I might have to micro this guy back, and yeah, I'm probably going to have to send him back. Retreat! Retreat!
Yes,
Go back here and try to gain some more health. And then, yeah, let's just go back here as well. And that's going to give me a good opportunity. Are they going to chase me into my village? I didn't think that they could do this.
On it.
Wait, wait, I need to follow this for a second. Okay, how far are they going to chase me? Oh, wow, cool. They chased me for quite a while. So yeah, let's try to tail them. Because we can heal up in my territory. So let's just try to hang out here for a second. And we'll heal up, and then we'll go right back in a second. But right now, there is a Landsraad Council vote, and this is going to be my main bread and butter. Because what I'm going for is the Dune governorship. And to do that, well, there's going to be quite a long journey to get into before we even get there. So there's this, but then there's also these charters that I can be elected to. Again, this is kind of mid to late game. Right now, focus more on this. These are the things that we're voting on. And over here on this side, these are the other factions. Now, the Atreides have a major advantage in this realm. Actually, I was saying that. So this is my first time playing against the House Carino, and as I can see, they actually have more votes than me, and that's what this means. I have 100 votes. House Carino has 120. Harkonnen has 80. Smugglers start off with 0, but then later on they can get some votes. And then these votes right here are for the minor factions. These minor factions add up, or the minor houses, should I say, and they have 300 votes available. And then what I can also do is I can spend influence. So I can spend my 100 votes and then add an additional 71 influence as well to, do 170 votes for whatever resolution that I'm trying to pass. And I can try to win that way. Now, it looks like before, the Atreides always had the advantage in this realm. in the political realm. But in this case, I wonder if House Carino has taken over. Do they now have the advantage in the political realm? I'm really curious, because it's not just about the votes, it's also about the influence that a faction has. And if the Atreides has, a better influence production, means of influence production, then they still have the advantage in this realm. So we will see how that goes further along. So let's see what we want to vote on here. Diplomatic Committee. All factions gain statecraft developments. Completion speed is increased by 50%. So this is in that tech tree where the blue branch of those techs are going to be increased. The speed at which they complete is going to be increased by 50%. I'm not going to be focusing on espionage right now, so I'm going to decline this and try to deny that from other factions. Military development speed increased by 50%. Also, I'm not doing military developments right now either. And then negative 50% building construction costs. Yeah, let's do that. And for this one, it's not support or decline. This one is what house gets this. Well, in this case, obviously, I want to get this. So let's do this. Let's spend all 100 of my votes. And then let's spend another... Do I want to do 50 or do I want to go all out and get 170? Right now, that's pretty much all I can spend, right? So let's go for it. Let's see if I can get this, because negative 50% construction costs would be really good for me. So let's try to do that. Voting will end in 5 days, and I am gaining 2 influence per day. So I can possibly add another 10 influence to this if I can kind of catch it in time. But if I don't, that's not the biggest loss in the world. All right, cool. Now I'm going to let my guys heal up a little bit because we are in friendly territory. And then I'm going to go right back in and see if I can actually beat this. Because right now there's only 2 militia. And let's go. Let's see if we can beat them before they gain a 3rd militiaman. And I don't know, I'm guessing, I don't know, are they full health?
Yes.
Looks like they are full health. But I was able to take down that one guy, so I should be able to beat them over time. I could just train up another unit, but I don't want to pay the upkeep right now, to be honest. I'm going to see if I can get away with taking this village with using just two units here. So it looks like that's going to be able to happen. Because once we get into melee combat with this guy, now his damage goes away because he was really counting on throwing grenades, and now he can't do that anymore. So this village is going to be mine very shortly here. Now, I wanted to remind myself, do I have militia here? No, I do not. All right, let's get some militia here. You and... let's see. All right, so now I can... Ooh, I don't have enough water. Ooh, damn, okay. I kind of forgot about water. Right. I need water first. And I have 2 towns that I can build water in. Or wind traps, should I say. And what this means is... So I want to look at this. Now, obviously, this thing tells me what resources here. Here is spice. But this is going to tell me what the wind strength of each region is. And the higher the wind strength, the more water that I can collect from that region. So here the wind strength is 5. Then the other region that I own, here, the wind strength is 4. Both numbers are good. I would say anything, above 3 is good. But definitely 5 is the way to go. So let's go in here and let's build another building. Let's do a wind trap. And it's going to be +3 for every level of wind. So I'm going to be making 15 water from this region here. Let's build that. And once that is built, then I will have enough water to annex this village. And once I annex this village, I can build a processing plant and start making some more money from there. Now I know that this is a very long take on the early game of this campaign. Or should I say, it's not going to be much of a campaign, it's just going to be a game. But I wanted to do a little look into the Atreides to see how this game has changed. And I will be finishing this game as well. But I do want to break these up into increments because I don't want to fit too much into one episode here. So that's going to be all for this one. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and thank you very much for watching. I've been Con of Dune, and this has been Dune Spice Wars. Thank you very much, and goodbye.